everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Ashlees Knitting, a knitting podcast hosted by yours truly. Thank you so much for joining me on episode 1. It means so much to me. I've been wanting to start a podcast for so long, especially during COVID. I fell in love with quite a few knitting podcasts to keep me occupied when I was staying inside. So I've decided it's my turn to finally start one. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Ashlee. I can be found on Ravelry as Ashlees Knitting. I'm more active on Instagram also as Ashlees Knitting. I'd love to chat and see your projects and make new fiber friends. Other than that, that's where I am. I am 21 years old. I live in Michigan here with my boyfriend and my pug, who is very loud. My pug is very loud, so she is locked in the other room. Hopefully you can't hear her. Maybe one day she'll make an appearance, but not today. I am a college student. I'm studying electrical engineering and I'll be done with school this fall. Hopefully that means I'll have more time for yarn, knitting, and podcast. And let's see. I'd like to do this every 2 weeks. I don't think I knit enough in a week to keep it interesting, so I think 2 weeks would be a good amount of progress and good timing for me. Let's see. I wanted to show my background. I'll probably be playing around with it again. This is a calyx from IKEA. And this cube is sweater quantities, so anything I have more than one skein of will go over here. And then single skeins will reside over here. It's mostly fingering weight. I do mostly knit with fingering weight. I actually think all my projects I'm showing you today are in fingering weight. Up here I have a glass with all of my sock yarn scraps in it. Hopefully soon I'll be able to make some scrappy socks. Up there is also my yarn swift, which I love so much, and then some of my plants. I have a lot of plants. My living room kind of looks like a jungle, and honestly I love it. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Leave a comment down below if there's anything you liked or anything you think should be changed about the podcast, and I just love to hear your feedback. So with that, I think we can get started with FOs. So I only finished one project in the last 2 weeks, and I think it'll be pretty typical for me to have 1 or 2 finished objects every episode. So the first one is socks. There will be a lot of socks. I usually have 1 or 2 on the needles at all times. And this Christmas I am knitting each of my direct family members a pair of socks for Christmas. So that would be 6 pairs, and this is my 3rd. So here it is. It is a vanilla sock with a little bit of striping. This was a 50-20 set, so 50 grams of the main color and 20 grams of the contrast color. I really like that setup because I find I almost never use the whole 100 grams. It's too much yarn for the socks that I make, but I was also afraid that with the 20 grams I wouldn't have enough for heels, toes, and cuffs, so I decided to do the cuff, the toe, and then these little stripes. I feel like they're kind of sporty. Please excuse my sock blockers. I need to buy new ones. Look at how much extra room there is here. Me and my family, we have big feet. We have long feet, so I need to go out and buy more sock blockers, but this is my finished object. The yarn, like I said, is a sock set called Blacklight. It is from Rainbow Peak Yarns on Etsy. They make very beautiful, very bright yarns, and if you go on my Instagram, I actually showed this yarn under a blacklight, and I just think it looks so cool. I can just imagine wearing them at a bowling alley. I think it would be so fun, and honestly, if I made these in my size, I'd probably be keeping them because I love them so much. But as they are for someone else, they are slightly larger. I've found that 60 stitches fits my foot. The typicals I've seen are 56 and 64, and 56 is just too tight and 64 is just too loose, especially on my foot. I have a very skinny, long foot, so I'll often do a 60 stitch cast on. If I'm doing just like a vanilla sock, I'll do a 60 stitch cast on, do the heel flap and gusset, the heel flap like normal, but when I get to the gusset, I will decrease to 56 stitches. So that's taken some experimenting to find what fits my foot perfectly, and I think, you know, I'm still playing with it. I like to try different heels. I've tried an afterthought heel, just your basic cut-in one, and the heel flap and gusset, but I want to try more like the fish lips kiss and other ones to see what fits best. But these, the lone FO for the week, for the episode, are these blacklight socks. Okay, so now I will move to whips. I'll start with the one that's the furthest along. This is in a bag from Polar Bear Yarns. I got one of her, where is it? Oh, it's buried. I'm not gonna pull it out. But I got her very first mystery set with an add-on. And this is what came with it. It corresponded with the yarn. The main color was a light purple and the contrast was a green. And I actually have plans for that set, but I don't really know when I'm gonna get there. So we'll see what happens. Let me pull it out here. I love drawstring bags, and I always fold over the top like this, and I'll just set it down and it stays open. I like that a lot. So I'll start by showing you the yarn. This one, excuse my cake, it's been in the ball for a little while. It's been in the bag for a little while. This is from For You to Dream. It's called Vino Time. It's like a deep red wine color. It's really rich. I like it a lot. It's a fingering weight. It's a 80-20 BFL nylon mix. That is the main color. And then the contrast color I got on vacation. It's from Arkansas Yarn Co. It's this variegated one. And it's called Lady Danbury, which I think is a Bridgerton reference. I haven't watched it, but I just thought the color was so beautiful. And I actually just got this like as a single skein. I was like, oh, I'll make socks with it. I make socks all the time. But when I saw this pattern, I was like, wow, I really like these together. I think this one brings out the red tones in this, and they work really well together. And what I'm making with these is a test knit. That'll be a common theme. I make test knits a lot. I like knitting along with people, and I find that test knitting feels like a mini cal, and it's a lot of fun. So what I have here is the Noli Star shawl. Let's see if I can hold it up. She's pretty big. Let's see. This is the flat end. It's a triangle. Yeah, it's showing pretty well. Colors look good. I have a few more sections to go, but it started at the smallest point at the top, and as it gets out, the rows get longer. So even though I only have 2 sections left, it'll take a while because it's 300 plus stitches. One thing that's really unique about this pattern is these crown stitches. I had never done them before. I think they add a really cool texture, and they're surprisingly easy to do. So this is, like I said, the Noli Star shawl by Beach House Knits. It's a test knit. Oh, look at all those ends. Oh, I'm gonna regret that later. That test knit is due in the beginning of August, but honestly, I think I might have it done by next episode. And I think I might even have enough yarn left over to make myself a little sock set, and I think that'll look really good. So that's my first project. That's my biggest one right now, and hopefully the next to be done. So let me pack this up. And those are on, here, pull it out again real quick. This is on my Knit Picks interchangeables, the nickel plated ones. I use these for everything over size 4. I think the set is 4 to 12 in US, and I love the nickel plated ones. I think they're really affordable, and they're almost the only thing I use. I really love them, and I highly recommend them if you're a beginner looking to get an interchangeable set. So my next project, here I'll start with the yarn again. This is a mystery skein that I got from $3.98 Fibers. I got this as a mystery skein on New Year's Eve. I think they're really fun. I get colors that I wouldn't normally buy, and I do love orange, but I don't love to wear orange. So this will really push me out of my comfort zone, and I think if it shows, it has little speckles in there that I think will be really pretty. So the project is the Outline Tank by Jessie May Designs, which you've probably seen is very popular, and she's just come out with a t-shirt version of it. Here it is. I apologize in advance. I always knit on needles that are too small, like the cords are too short for my project, so it's always going to be scrunched up. But I've got about the inch of the ribbing and 2 inches of stockinette, and I think it'll look nice and summery on my skin tone. I'm really excited for it. The little speckles are starting to poke through. It's a really nice tonal. And I'm just working on this whenever I get a moment. I like having a plain stockinette project. I find, sometimes you just need that easy project to grab when you're having a hard day or you just have a few minutes. So that's that. I've been wanting to knit this project for a very long time, but it kept on getting pushed off because of test knits and presents. So it just kept on getting pushed and pushed, but it's finally going. This isn't a bag from Unusual Surroundings on Etsy. This is an Easter one, but I thought the carrots were just so cute with the orange, and I have a few of his bags. I love them, the little sock bags. They work perfectly. They're a great size and they're sturdy, and again, I love the drawstrings. I'm so afraid that my yarn will get caught in a zipper. One of my biggest fears. So that's that, and I have one more. That's not true, I don't have one more. I have another whip that I haven't worked on in a long time, and I'll show you that when I pull it back out. I do want to finish it, but it's more of a fall-winter project. It's like a DK sweater, so it's like 90 degrees outside, so I don't want to work on it right now. But the last whip I'm gonna show you, I'll start with the yarn. Again, another drawstring bag that I fold over. I have a set of these bags in a sock size and like a shawl and then like a sweater size. Start with the yarn. Another fingering weight yarn as always. This is by A Busy Life in the colorway July. This was a gift that I got, and it was a mystery skein that they ordered. Actually, mystery sock set. It came with this brown mini. I think they look nice together, but like I said, I never use the whole 100 grams to make a sock. So I decided to make it no contrasting colors, just in this. And the pattern is by Fiber Morphology. She's a good friend of mine, and she recently put out a test for her first sock pattern, and I was like, of course, I have to do it. And it's a beautiful pattern. It's a cabled sock with a little texture in the middle. It's called The Guardian of the Moss socks, and I was a little worried to do this colorway with it because I was afraid the colors would hide the texture. But I think it still shows really well, and I really wanted to use this yarn in July because it's called July, very fitting. I had to do it. So these socks are covering a lot of ground for me. They are a test knit, of course. And then I plan to do the second sock for Knitting Natty's Sock Week, which corresponds with Shark Week. And the goal is to knit a single sock in 7 days, which shouldn't be a problem for me. I think I can totally do that, but it's a little bit of a challenge. I love to participate. And then it's kind of triple dipping because I'm also going to use this for the Socks and Stocks cow by Knit Knack Zach and the Fourth Star Knits. So these socks are very multi-purpose, and the point of that cal is to knit like a fancy sock, whether it be variegated, color work, textured, just something that you can show off in sandals, and I really love that idea, especially because I'm kind of afraid to wear my hand knit socks in shoes. I'm really afraid to ruin them. So this will help me start, wearing them out and showing them off. So that is that. That is the last of the whips I'll be sharing today. I usually have like 2 to 4. I always have a sock project and then a couple others. So something a little different I'd like to do is, since I've been knitting for over 3 years now, I started December 2018, I think. I started right after Christmas. I was home from school and I was pretty bored and I just wanted to try something. So I started knitting, and it being my first podcast, I wanted to show you my first project. And so I made a scarf, as everyone does, I think. And this is the starting end. You can see, like, I think this might be a loose stitch. It's rough. I was somehow increasing here, and I remember just holding it way too tight, and I would split the stitches and make new ones and drop them, and it was just a mess. And then eventually you can see it get better, and there's a string on it, 1 second. You can see it get better and better until it's a pretty long scarf, until I got to the end. And I think this looks pretty good for a first project, and I want to keep it because you can see the project over the progress and the advancement over the whole project. You can see the beginning, rough around the edges, and it gets better and better and better. And I started with acrylic yarn that I found in the closet. I think it was maybe my mom's or my grandma's. And I had, I think, the first 3 colors. And I was like, oh, I want it to be a little longer, so I went and picked up this 4th color. And I like it. Yellow, I like yellow. It's a happy color. And that is my first project. It took me months to work on. I was honestly getting bored of it. I mean, a thick garter scarf, you're gonna kind of get bored of it. Especially when you're just starting, you're like, oh, is this really all knitting is? But there's so much more to it, and I'm so happy I stuck around for it. So that is my first project. Next, I would like to showcase makers that I really love, whether that be a yarn dyer or another podcast or a bag or a stitch marker creator. I just want to share the love and share with you creators that I love. And this one I actually brought up before, and I'll keep the theme of firsts. So this person was my first hand-dyed yarn purchase. I'm hooked now. Every time I can get my hands on it, I do. If there's a sale, I'm getting a sweater's quantity. So keeping up with first, my first hand-dyed yarn is this sock set. Of course I haven't used it. I've used her yarn for other socks, just not this first one. From For You to Dream Again. I think I was one of maybe her 2nd or 3rd order as well, so we were kind of new at this together. But I just thought the color was so pretty, and then the mini to go with it. Now I know from experience that that's going to be too much yarn, but maybe I can even make a pair and then a pair of shorties. And I buy so much from her shop. I love her stuff. Like, this is also from her. This is a double knit sock blank. It's just shades of blue. And this will be fun because there's 2 strands, so I'll be able to try 2 at a time socks. And I think that'll be really fun. I've never knit from a sock blank. I've seen crazy ones where the dyer will like draw on it and it comes out with really cool patterns that you maybe didn't expect to have. And I just think that's really cool. So I wanted to call out For You to Dream. I love her. I love her stuff. I have made socks. I am making the shawl right now with the wine color. And you know, it's just an episode of first. I wanted to share all my first project, first hand-dyed yarn, first episode. And I think that is it. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll join me on the next one. Please connect with me. I love making Fiverr friends, and I think it'd be so fun to meet you. Maybe someday in the future I'll host a cow. I love cows, so maybe I'll figure something out. Maybe to do with like a summer knit or maybe socks. We'll see. But thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great weekend. Bye.